If I were to start my weight loss journey from scratch, here's what I would and wouldn't do. Welcome to episode number 49. Hi, I'm Clarenda, and you are listening to the Feel Light Mind and Body podcast, created for women like you. Women who are experiencing success in so many areas of life, but are struggling with weight loss, stress eating, and decreased energy. Losing weight can feel hard, heavy, and restrictive. That's why every week I will be offering you a different perspective, tips, encouragement, and a unique approach so that you can feel lighter in your mind and body rather than feeling deprived, frustrated, or discouraged. What if you could feel free, yet in control around food for the rest of your life? What if you could enjoy your experience of losing weight and getting healthier? You absolutely can. You're in the right place. Take this time for yourself and let's dive in. So, if I were to start my weight loss journey from scratch, let's start with what I wouldn't do. Number 1, I wouldn't do it in a way that I couldn't keep doing for the rest of my life. Number 2, I wouldn't set myself up to fail long-term by not including the mindset component and true self-care. 3, I wouldn't completely cut out a food group. 4, I wouldn't depend on exercise to lose or maintain my ideal weight or size. Note, I said depend on because we know exercise has so many amazing physical and mental health benefits. 5, I wouldn't depend on supplements. Okay, let's leave it at 5 of the main things I wouldn't do if starting from scratch, knowing what I know now. And since I want to save you time, frustration, and money and help you feel lighter in your mind and body, let's take those 5 wouldn'ts and talk about what I would do instead. 1, I would choose to lose weight in a way that isn't extreme. I've done the plans where you're so limited all week, and then watch out, as soon as a cheat day comes up, what happens? You can't get enough of all the things you were holding off on and thinking about. That feeling of deprivation turns to overindulging. We eat just because it's allowed, even if we aren't hungry. Or, if you've done the points thing, you might have run out of points by 4 p.m. and then been starving the rest of the day. So there's no way you're going to leave points out on this day that are in the surplus. I've seen myself eat that allotted container when my body really didn't want it. The problem with this is it messes with your hunger hormones compared to planning for the next day and keeping in mind roughly what you had the day before, and then giving your body a balance, which might include a burger at Wendy's on a Tuesday. You might be thinking, seriously? Yes. There's something about our brains that when we know we can have anything we want, it doesn't have quite the same charge to it. Have you noticed that? I tell myself I can have it, but then intentionally check in, listen to my body once you're aware of what your body's signals are, and ask myself if it's worth it. Sometimes I choose yes, and sometimes I simply say, maybe on the weekend, we'll see. That creates less drama, less resistance. And then I focus on who or what's really important in my life right now. Number 2, I knew what, or at least I thought I knew what mindset was before becoming a life coach, as I've always loved personal development and I worked in mental health as a nurse. But the weight coach certification component really dove powerfully into the mindset for not only achieving your health goals in a way that's enjoyable, but also because of that, it's also sustainable. I really was able to experience how empowering and necessary it was for long-term success, for creating this healthier self-identity. Learning how to feel my emotions instead of ignoring or burying them with busyness and food has saved me a lot of calories and post-belly pain. If I had known that feeling the gamut of emotions wasn't as scary as what my brain told me it would be, I could have saved time, frustration, and energy, and actually saved myself from more compounded negative energy by the results that overeating or staying up too late created. Giving in to my desires or trying to avoid feeling sad or frustrated left me feeling worse, especially when I thought that something must be wrong with me because I couldn't stick to my plan like others seemed to be able to. And self-care? Well, I'm going to devote next week's podcast to that subject. I think that's a perfect one for the 50th episode. Number 3, I would eat real food 90% of the time. Food that wasn't processed and had good nutritional value in all food groups. I wouldn't deprive myself of food that didn't have food value, but I wouldn't have it as often. I would acknowledge that it was empty calories and that I was simply eating it for pleasure. Somehow getting factual just takes the drama away or the need to eat as much as possible while I'm already off the bandwagon. Completely cutting out a food category has future effects, especially if you go off of it and back on multiple times. I must say that reading some of the newest research makes sense on why we, as women especially, need high-quality carbs for our hormonal health. Hear me, there are many ways to lose weight in a healthy way, and I support others who gravitate to a different way because their body responds to it well. Maybe you've read about eating right for your blood type. I haven't checked if there's any more evidence on that, but I must look it up again, as I still follow a few of their principles because my body likes it better. So let me come back to, as long as it's something you can maintain, you feel good, and it's not extreme, I work with you. And if it's simply a quick fix, I'm here waiting for you without judgment, as we've all tried something that hasn't lasted if weight has been a concern for us. Number 4, I would lose weight in a way that doesn't depend on my ability to exercise. As I said, exercise has so many amazing physical and mental health benefits, and I believe in it. But I have a long answer and a short answer on why I wouldn't depend on it. Since I leave soon for the women's weekend retreat, I'm going to choose the short answer. Okay, I've tested this approach over the past 2 years by exercising only 2 to 3 times a week on average for a shorter amount of time and less intensity. And I have maintained within a 2 to 3 pound fluctuation, which is a reasonable goal. Before, when I was dependent on exercise, that scale could creep up 10 pounds in no time if I couldn't exercise because of a knee flare-up, being sick, pulled a muscle in my back, traveling, working long hours, or simply didn't feel like it and get off my routine. Well, guess what the surface level mindset also did? It followed suit. Enough said? Number 5, I wouldn't depend on supplements. Again, notice I said depend. I'm not saying they can't be helpful and even healthy if they aren't full of a bunch of chemical names that we can't pronounce. I just want you to be confident and have the tools and mindset to be at your healthiest weight without having to keep buying this or that. Weight loss drugs and gastric surgeries have really helped people get a reset happening, and I'm sure a lot of consideration went into those decisions. That is everyone's decision to make, and I'm not judging that. I simply want to help my clients lose weight in a way that isn't dependent on an external thing. So if they develop side effects or a medical reason why they need to stop taking it, they also don't have to give up on their health goal. They also don't have to deal with the rebound effect from things like fat burners. I want to add that without developing your internal locus of control, your past coping mechanisms are still there. They are either being masked or controlled by the effect of the medication or the reaction of the now tiny stomach. Learning and being guided through new nurturing coping mechanisms is setting you up for success and a sense of true satisfaction for your life, no matter what comes your way or whatever is added or subtracted from your life. If you haven't been taught how to talk to yourself when you've effed up, and for some, even when you've been successful, then you will self-sabotage. And you deserve more than that roller coaster of emotions happening all in 1 year. So that's why I teach you how to talk to yourself when you feel frustrated or ashamed at not doing what you said you were going to do or not do. We often don't even notice the little jabs we make at ourselves because we've been doing it for so long. Let me tell you that learning how to respond with honesty, layered kindly with self-compassion, and giving acknowledgement rather than self-judgment feels so much better. Here's a question to ask yourself with curiosity. Do you understand why you do what you do? Maybe you have an idea, or maybe you try not to think about it. Most of us can't see what we need to see. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't be swirling in our wishes for more, yet believing it's not possible. Your mind might be saying, yeah, at least for me, that is. Let me remind you, you are not alone. Having a qualified, experienced, and compassionate coach to help you see what is indeed possible and help you get a reset is a game changer. Imagine having someone believe in you, especially when you're feeling shaky in your own belief. It is calming and encouraging. The weight loss journey is a lonely one, but it doesn't have to be. It's one of the reasons I created the Feel Light Mind and Body program to include a private online community with other women with similar goals and challenges. As I say, those who are willing to invest in themselves in time, energy, and money, they are the ones that you want to be rubbing shoulders with. The collective energy and belief is contagious in the very best way. Many women have done the course twice when it was 10 weeks and then 13 weeks. So I've watched and listened to them over the past 7 times I've opened the doors up for it to be 18 weeks this time. We start October 23rd. At your own pace, at your own time. It's a Monday, but remember, it's online. And we end February 19th. Imagine how much easier the holidays could be this year with continual support. You'll learn how to enjoy your favorite holiday traditional food while staying in control and feeling so much better after. You'll lean into focusing more on who you are with rather than the food. Oh, we'll still enjoy it. Trust me, I still love my food. But you will be surprised at the tools and techniques that will have you appreciating things, including food and those you love, even more. You might be thinking, but I only have 5 to 10 pounds to lose, so I don't know if I need that long. Trust me, having an extended amount of time really allows you to integrate the changes into your healthier, new identity. Maybe you have 100 plus pounds to lose, like some of my clients are working on. Their advice to you would be to just start. Just step into what is truly possible, even with feelings of uncertainty and fear. At the end of the 18 weeks, you'll know what you want to do next. I have options for the program graduates. I don't just leave you hanging, my friend. This program is unique, achievable, and sustainable. You'll be able to get out of that old diet mentality. When the initial energy of a new program that has you focusing on all of the do's and don'ts wears off, then what? That is one of the amazing features of what sets Feel Light, Mind, and Body apart. It's what I developed after years of watching people's responses, health, attempts, habits, addictions, and all the rest that happens with getting on and falling off of any bandwagon. First, for 21 years as a registered nurse, with 16 plus years overlapping as a personal trainer, and now for the past 7 years as a certified weight and life coach. The empowering part is you won't be as focused on what traditional diets take away from you. We focus more on what you can give yourself to add to your life. Simple, beautiful things that don't take a lot of time and are free. Permission to be human and mess up without making it mean you're a failure. Self-compassion and learning how to tap into what you're really craving. It might simply be 10 minutes of uninterrupted alone time. Self-acceptance and love for who you are and what you've been through. Acknowledgement for your little wins as well as your struggles. When you start practicing that, the urge to escape with food or wine will lessen. And for the urges that remain, I have tools and tactics to navigate them as well in a soothing, and some find it a fun way. We're human. Our brains are amazing. And as you learn the simple science behind weight loss and weight gain, you'll be like, oh, of course that makes sense that I would be craving this or that. And now I understand why I reverted back to what I said I wouldn't do anymore. The need to beat yourself up, again, will lessen. You can meet yourself where you're at and love and accept who you are. And from that place, be ready to live the healthiest version of yourself, free and in control. And if you don't love yourself yet, that's also okay. I help you with that. If you want to have more ease and lasting results along with coaching and community support, don't put it off. This course won't be open for enrollment again until later in 2024. Promise me, whether you choose to work with me or another qualified practitioner that you trust and resonate with, don't hesitate on the sidelines in uncertainty. Deliberately make your decision instead of letting the deadline pass by and letting the deadline make it for you, leaving you feeling alone again in your attempts to reach your better health. Maybe you've been maintaining your weight but are exhausted from having to white knuckle it, or you're tired of feeling like you're missing out as you've been saying no to some social functions that you'd love to attempt, but you don't feel equipped to handle the temptations. I've got you covered there as well. Members are blown away with the quality and value of the short teaching videos, and then the optional guide sheets that really personalize it for you. Just like everything else in life, weight loss isn't a straight line. I had one Feel Light member who tracked her progress on a graph, and when we stepped back and looked at the full picture, guess what? She was encouraged to realize she was still tracking in the right direction. I know it's challenging to trust again, to believe in yourself that you'll stick to something long term. But I invite you to be kind to yourself now and to your future self. What do you want her to be able to do 10 years from now? Can you imagine going through life for the next 10 years talking to yourself the way you do now? Maybe that doesn't transfer to your work and relationships dialogue, but maybe it does. We all have an inner script running in the background. We can be successful and even happy most days, especially if we're pushing the negative emotions down and trying to bypass them with something delicious or just something that'll take the edge off. They will continue to add to the background stressors, the brain chatter around food or what you think, the brain chatter around food or what you think when you catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror or hardly recognize yourself in pictures, or really wish you could keep your video off for work meetings. We wonder why we're so tired at the end of the day when it seems like we didn't do much. Well, thinking and talking bad about ourselves is draining and heavy, my friend. It makes life feel hard, harder than it has to be. So I'm inviting you to make yourself a priority for your physical, emotional, and mental health's sake. The doors to Feel Light Mind and Body are now open to the general public, and space is limited. You can learn more by clicking the link in the description, and I'll also offer the link for a free 20-minute consult to answer any of your questions or guide you through making a decision that feels best for you, whether you decide, yes, I'm in, or no, I'm not. You'll love the simple decision-making formula that I'll actually be going through with my retreat ladies on Sunday. Speaking of that, I need to get the vehicle packed up and hit the road to be ready to welcome them to the lakeside retreat with open arms and an open, overflowing heart. I'm excited to meet brand new faces, people who've never heard of Feel Light Mind and Body until maybe the Facebook ad. It's going to be a weekend to remember. And I can't wait to connect with you. As always, feel free to share this opportunity with a friend, colleague, or family member. And just know I appreciate you and value as a listener, whether you're a faithful one or you're just discovering this podcast for the first time. Welcome. Let's make it a great week, and I look forward to our time together next week. Now, do yourself the biggest favor. From love, take at least one action step from what you learned today. Knowledge without application won't give you the results that you desire. Let me know on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever, what you are choosing to do and when. And yes, please leave a podcast review wherever you are listening to this. When people read your words and can see themselves in them, then you are contributing to women empowering other women. And that feels amazing. You just might change or save a life today.